Well, hey guys, welcome to Pen Talk. I'm Santi.
I'm Tony.
We're here. So today we've got a sampling of pens. It's more of a head-to-head, so it's a little special episode, I guess.
Yeah.
We've got the Pilot Precise V5 RT and the Pilot Precise V5. Right? What? You're going what? Rolling ball, extra fine. But the distinction is we've got clicker versus snap cap. So. A little bit of a head-to-head, two different styles of pens, maybe the same cartridge. We'll investigate.
We'll talk about it. Alright, so first we're going to start off with the Precise V5 RT. Now, this is a new pen. Let's get the cap off right there. Here on Pen Talk. We try to test only new pens, but sometimes we can't do that.
Yeah, it's not always possible. So.
We're not made of money, you know. Well, now, Santi, what are your first impressions about this pen?
Well, I like the aesthetic, kind of.
Yeah.
It's a little bit chubby, I think, in the back. But the tip is nice, the grip is nice, and I can't point out exactly what's wrong. It just feels a little chubby to me. I don't know.
I'm personally a really big fan of this aesthetic.
Yeah.
I really like in my pens the angled top under the clicker. I don't know why. I think that just
that's a nice touch. It's like it looks fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. And also a thing I really like about pens. A thing I like in pens. Metal clickers. Metal clips.
We know.
Metal clips.
If you've watched Pen Talk before, we know about the metal clip.
I love metal clips. It's something you can play with them.
Yeah.
You know, they're not gonna break as easy. And a little side by side here.
Play all day.
We have both of the Precise V5s or Precise V series. They both have metal clips.
Yeah.
But what sets the Precise V5 RT apart from this one is look at these clips.
Yeah.
Look at the difference right here.
Look immediately.
This one flimsy. I can bend it.
Yeah.
I can bend it as much as I want.
It's a flat clip.
This one,
right?
Much stronger.
Right, because
much thicker.
You can see how the metal is rolled a little bit, and that provides a little bit of structural rigidity, where you've got that dome shape as opposed to a flat piece of metal.
Yeah.
Just
so
little design features among the same pen family.
Now there is something here. Maybe it's this specific pen.
Yeah.
But I feel this clicker. It seems a little bit rough to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as smooth as
that's interesting.
Maybe a different style. Maybe it's just that pen, but
yeah, you can feel you push on it and there's a little bit of feels like plastic on plastic grabbing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting, especially from the company that makes the G2. Which is such a refined.
We have some right here. We can't ever have a pen talk without mentioning the G2. That is one workhorse of a pen.
That's quite a pen. It's such a refined click in the G2, and this is a little bit amateur. If I'm being frank, we can do a real brief deconstruction of the pen. We've got a tip, and it looks like a thinner spring in comparison to the G2 spring.
Come on. Give it a little push. Yeah.
We can do the all push it with the tip trick.
There you go.
There we go. We got the clicker mechanism out. So it looks very similar to the G2 mechanism. It's just thinner. It's a thinner body pen, so they have to try to squeeze all of these features and all of this mechanical action into a smaller pen, into a more compact package. And actually, the end plug on this pen is part of the clicker mechanism as well.
That is unique. I don't think I've seen a pen like that before.
That's a cool design feature that I've never seen before. We've got the intermediate piece right here.
There we go. That's what I'm missing.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like they've got some ridging built right into the tip here that you can't actually pull out. But wow,
that's interesting. So let's spend a little bit of time.
Very interesting mechanism
On this cartridge right here. Pilot BXS-V5RT. That's what it says on there. Made in Japan. Now, this is a gel cartridge.
We've got gel pens today, yeah. So, that's what you're getting from a lot of these Pilot pens.
Yeah.
They're big fans of the gel roller balls.
And they do use them to great effect.
They do it well, yeah.
That's something that sets it apart from the V5, not RT. Your regular V5.
The V5 Snap Top is a liquid ink pen. We've got a rolling ball, right? But
of course,
it's not a felt tip, but it is liquid. So that's interesting. You've got the potential for a little more smearing, possibly.
But ultimately, it will usually result in a smoother writing.
Yeah, you're not going to approach any resistance from the ball because it keeps it more lubricated with that less viscous liquid. And it's got an interesting tip, this one. It seems like there's like a little pinch. It's a unique tip.
The tips are very similar. I think these are both fine point pens that we have.
Yeah, they're both extra fines.
Yeah.
They're,
both V5s.
Yeah, they're both V5s. And there's not a lot to do with the V5 rolling ball. So you can't take it apart because the whole thing is basically the ink cartridge.
One big cartridge, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I see, actually, Pilot kept with the G2 design of having the whole grip and tip being in one plastic piece.
Yeah, as opposed to having a separate tip that screws on.
I like that more, personally.
Yeah.
It seems like a better place to split the pen.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's a lot easier to grab. You can just grab the grip and twist it.
Yeah,
if you're trying to take it apart, replacing a cartridge, you know, really anything. But now, we all know the main selling point of the Pilot Precise series. It's writing smoothness.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's really all about, and that's what it comes down to in the end. So we're gonna give it a test. This is a tough test for a pen. One sheet of paper on a hard surface.
This is a hard surface. This is stainless steel wrapped over like an MDF material.
Alright.
So
just as we work out the kinks.
It's a new pen, so it's gonna take a little bit of writing before it gets, totally into spec. You're gonna have a little bit of wax residue from the plug initially.
Yep, of course. I think we've sort of worked over that.
Yeah. Worked it out a little bit.
You know, I'd have to say this is one of the smoother pens I've ever written with.
Is that right?
There's very little difference in the thickness of the line it leaves down. I'm a big fan of that. You know, that's really helpful in your everyday, writing down all the stuff you need to write down. If one line just comes out blotchy or bigger than the others, that's a real distraction. It's gonna mess up a word.
Yeah.
We can't have that because
your whole flow.
We write in pen. We're gonna give it a try.
Yeah. So let's give it a shot with the Precise V5 RT clicker. We'll start from naked position, click it in, and it's getting better. I feel the clicker, it's smoothing out a little bit.
It might just be the new pen.
As it's working in. So it's feeling better and better by the second. So I wouldn't make the clicker
primary concern.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that should stop you from buying the pen.
Yeah.
So, standard name test, right?
It's important. It's the name test. He's got a long name, so it's quite a test for him.
Got a long name, a lot of letters. I like to loop my letters together, so it connects well. Connects very well.
Yeah. All you cursive writers out there, this might be a good choice for you.
Yeah, this will be good. Even lifting off a hair to try to approach the I in my name, I got a nice little loop up to the I. It looks good. Looping around through the T and across the bottom of a B up into an H, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. This is good. So,
can you notice any difference between it as a gel pen from maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit. We haven't even tried out the V5, not RT.
Yeah, we haven't tried the liquid yet. So, it's good. It's a good writer. It's an extra fine tip, so there's going to be a little bit of a scratch factor, but that's a given when you're purchasing a tip this fine. So
happens.
You just have to accommodate.
I do like it has a very sleek design for the tip.
I
know the G2s, when you order a really fine tip, it just seems to have like sort of an arrowhead that really goes to a point.
Yeah, exactly.
And
whereas this is a tiny barrel leading up to the ball.
That's a little bit more sleeker.
It is. It's sleek. You feel like you've got more control because you've just got a little bit of geometry leading up to where you're writing at instead of a sort of chunky point.
And even writing, you can see everything immediately around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that visibility factor.
Yeah.
It's very important.
And also, something to say about this pen. You see the tip?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of this design. See, you can't really tell, but there's little ridges, plastic ridges on the tip.
The ridgy tip.
And I think that's a really cool design factor that they gave it.
It feels very industrial and
very well built.
Yeah.
It just gives that idea.
It feels rugged.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a good feeling.
So, that's the Precise V5 RT. I would recommend this pen, you know. I did buy this in a set of 4 when I purchased this pen.
Easy way to introduce yourself to a pen, 4-pack.
Bought it at Office Max. There was one thing though. I got out the first pen, and I started writing with it, and I noticed it was scratchy.
Wow.
And that was something I've never like. That's what the V5 is all about. It's all about smooth, flawless writing. You know.
Yeah.
And there was something wrong with this pen, so I tried another one, and it was the same thing. And I've bought a few dud packs of pens in my life, and it's always tough. It's not pleasant at all, and I think that's not a good reason to never use a pen again.
Yeah,
you know?
You got to keep working at it.
And this wasn't the pack. You know, it was new. I hadn't tried it, and you know, I'm really impressed with this one.
It's a good writing experience.
This doesn't seem like a dud pen at all. I mean, even keep going. When you bring it down to such tight tolerances with an extra fine point, any sort of little imperfections in manufacturing are going to be magnified as compared to a larger ball. So it works very well on a pad.
That looks very smooth.
Very smooth. Start.
It's quiet. There's a good whoosh.
Listen to this.
Good whoosh.
You can hear that rolling ball in there.
Yeah.
You can hear it. That's something I really enjoy. When I'm writing fast, when there's a few minutes left of class and I still have a page of notes to write, scribble it down, you can even hear the rolling ball in there, and that really...
When the pressure's on, that gets you in the zone. Yeah.
Gives you that motivation.
It's telling you
through that hand
these
crank.
notes are going down. You can hear that. That's all the sensory experience through the hands, through your eyes. You're seeing the notes go down, and through the ears. It just adds something, a new dimension to the writing experience.
Definitely.
So, we're going to move on to the writing test with the V5 rolling ball liquid.
Even really. This is different. It's similar design. It's much more angular, I would say.
It is.
It's very bulky. It's not...
I'd say I appreciate this design more.
Really?
That's my opinion. I really like it.
It's a very working man's pen.
It's
design, at least.
So clean and so easy. It's
very crisp.
A cylinder, a clip that's right angle off the top, and it's just parallel down the side.
Yeah. There's little clear plastic windows.
Yeah.
Seeing in. So if you're low on ink, you'll be able to tell through these little sides.
With the newer pen, that'll be possible. This is an older pen that I've worked through, so the ink has stained the windows.
Yeah.
But that's what you're gonna expect from a liquid ink pen.
It's gonna get everything inky. That is a danger, actually.
I think it's true.
I think that's a good reason why liquid ink pens are usually capped pens as opposed to clicker pens, because they do have a tendency to leak.
Yeah. You've got that very runny liquid, and if it does leak, it can get all over stuff.
Get everywhere. And that's a problem that I've used Precise V5s for a while.
Yeah.
And that's a problem I've seen. You'll be writing fine, totally fine. It's phenomenal quality.
Yeah.
And you'll be writing, and then suddenly it'll sort of sputter a little bit, and the ink won't be flowing down, I guess. It'll sputter, and then you'll do some circles, and then maybe that'll work back, and then it'll sputter again. And if you're writing a lot, say you're writing a big paper,
Yeah.
you know, you really, it's tough to work through, and it really takes you out of the moment, because you gotta find a new blank piece of paper and scribble all that stuff down. And then I've done this enough. This pen has given me enough problems that I got so frustrated. I was scribbling so hard
Yeah.
that I think I might have busted some sort of mechanism in the tip, maybe
Wow.
perhaps the rolling ball, and then it just started leaking like crazy.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't notice, and I put it in my backpack, and it was everywhere.
Oh, no. And that's
It was
a
awful.
danger. You see these tips are so... you may even not be able to see it from here. It's just that little metal cylinder with the ball suspended in it. So that's pretty fragile. If that breaks, you've just got ink. Free-flowing ink right there.
Yep. Now, I am noticing this is a very smooth writer. This is what the V5 is all about. The precise series in Pilot. It truly is precise.
It's precise. It's a pen that lets you work the way you want to and put the lines down where you want to put them.
Now, something I guess I have a problem with. There's no rubber grip on this pen. And that's something that I think really helps. And I guess maybe because it's a capped pen, that it might cause some trouble. They might have to make this this barrel right here smaller.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a cost thing.
Yeah.
But I think it really adds to a pen. I find it incredibly helpful. You know?
Okay.
It doesn't, so I'm not writing hard and it'll slip, so I'll end up writing on the tip itself like that, and that's just not a good way to write.
I gotta say, from my experience, these are all things that they just really don't bother me, I guess, with the V5. I like capped pens. I like taking the cap off, putting the cap on the back. Big fan of that. I like it. I like how it rests in my hand, and I don't really find an issue. It doesn't bother me that there's no rubber grip. It's just a matter of personal preference, but yeah, I don't find an issue. And so if that's not a big deal, this is absolutely a good pen in terms of comfort, because it's a medium thick barrel.
Yeah.
Right?
It is a very
comfortable.
Very comfortable pen.
It's good in the hand. It's good to move around. There's a little bit of slippage if your hand is sweaty, or, you know.
Yeah.
On this, because this little holding bit right here, there's no rubber coated, but it's sort of transparent. And there's like a little
cool
reservoir and
yeah.
with fins and stuff. That's kind of cool.
It
looks sort of industrial and like performance oriented. You could say like function over form, kind of, and that's cool. And that design carries into the tip. It's got that same sort of stepped Christmas tree design to the tip as the V5 on RT, is it?
There it is. The RT.
Yeah, the V5, the Precise V5 RT. So, and that's a good look, and that carries it into the fins, and that's pretty cool looking. If you used any of the Uniball rollers, or liquid ink rollers, then you'll also know what these are like, these little fins inside the grip body of the pen. Writing experience, sublime. On a single sheet.
Sublime. It is good.
It bests the gel ink on a single sheet in terms of writing experience.
Yep.
On 2 sheets.
On a pad, it's
very
thick. It's thicker
than
thick.
you might hope. Very bold.
On the pad.
On the pad, yeah. And
does it bleed through at all?
There's no bleed. No bleed. It's bold. It's in the same ballpark as a G2, like a larger body G2.
Yeah.
So comparing, this may indeed be a bigger tip, but it might not be. So it's sort of hard to tell. But it definitely puts down a thicker line on the pad. It puts down a thicker line on a hard surface, one sheet. But
and that's just due to the
it's just the liquid nature of the ink. Yeah.
It's a liquid ink pen, and you're generally gonna get a bolder line with a liquid ink pen.
Yeah, with the gel ink, you've got a more viscous liquid, so when the capillary action is carrying that through the fibers of the paper, that's not going to go as far. It's harder.
It's
for
harder
the surface
to
tension to pull it through the little gaps in the paper, but that's a lot easier for a thin, like runny liquid like this.
Yeah.
And after
it is a good pen for periods, though. I found that
it's a good period.
Every time I'm trying to write a period, all you need to do is one dab, and it's so.
Yeah, when you've been writing on it and you've got some ink on it.
Yeah, just one tap.
Dropping the period down.
You don't need to scribble around at all. Just one tap, and you're good to go.
And you've got a little perfect circle.
Yeah.
Perfect periods from Pilot Precise V5. Alliteration there. So, through wear, this is like a daily driver pen. So you can see some of the issues that have occurred cosmetically. It doesn't come apart, really. You can't really push the top out, which you can do with some pens that have a cap structure like this. But the clip gets a little bent. Right now it's kind of bowed out from the surface of the pen. They're not perfectly parallel anymore, which would be nice, and it looks really clean and good. It looks
sharp.
It does. You've got the barrel of the pen, and then there's a little bit of a bow.
It's a very sleek design, but it does compromise some of the integrity after lots of wear and use.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It doesn't have the same sort of strength as a bent and folded clip, like on the V5 clicker, the RT, that is. But it seems to be a thicker gauge of metal, which is a good look, and that's kind of nice. And it's understated. It's a brushed metal finish as opposed to a metallic, like chromed finish.
True.
So it's a little more understated.
A little bit muted.
Yeah, kind of quiet design.
And it is at the end of the day a metal clip. And
it's still a metal clip.
That is definitely a plus.
Yeah, clipping your thumb underneath it, it's never gonna break off.
Yeah.
So
the worst it can do is bend. And
yeah.
That does get kind of annoying. If you play with it a lot, you see a lot of people walking around. They'll have V5s. It's a popular pen.
It is.
Precise V5s, and their clip will actually be out here.
Yeah.
And it'll be at almost a 90-degree angle, and that just gets in the way when it's in your pocket.
Yeah.
At some point, you wish, hey, just break off. Come on.
Yeah.
Save us the trouble, man.
And if it comes to that, you can break it off, but it'll be bending back and forth like a paper clip. You have to stress harden the metal until it becomes brittle enough where it'll just break off. The little fin design, as with all liquid ink pens, it tends to get clogged up with ink over time. And the Uniball liquid rollers will do this too. So this is definitely not an issue exclusive to Pilot, and it's sort of a feature that it's something that you expect when you buy a liquid ink pen with this sort of fin array inside the grip. The writing is it's sublime, really.
It's good.
Yeah.
There's a problem, though. The longevity of liquid ink pens.
There's something to be said about that.
They don't last as long as your gel pen.
No.
Simply because they don't have as much weight in the cartridge, and
and they drop more.
They drop more ink, so they're running through ink faster, and you can't get it down to as little ink as you can with a gel pen.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
The cartridges just aren't like that. The ink is free flowing inside it instead of sort of suctioned up against the tip.
Yeah.
So you can't really pull every last bit of ink in there, which is an issue. And if you're somebody when you're running out of ink who likes to smack your pen, danger with a liquid ink pen. You're gonna send little splatters all over the place. Any liquid ink pen, something to be wary of.
Yeah, you gotta watch out.
Yeah.
So also, these pens, airplanes, they do have a tendency to explode.
Is that right?
Keep them capped. Yep. Better watch out.
Watch out. Liquid ink.
It's certainly possible.
Dangers that come with the territory, really.
It's liquid ink that giveth what it taketh away.
True.
Or taketh away what it giveth. You know, it's whatever.
It is what it is. So, in conclusion, I would say that the RT, the clicker, is a more normal everyday pen. Truly, it's less.
I personally am always a fan of the clickers, you know?
Right.
I think it's always a better workhorse pen. I like it more. It's something to do. You know, if you're waiting, you can just click it. You can spin it. I think the weight is more evenly distributed. You know, I like to play with my pens a lot. I use some of these, you know.
Right.
Play with it a lot.
Right on.
And the cap does add another dynamic. You can maybe even spin it from lower on the handle. But I at the end of the day, I like it more balanced. That's just me. That's my preference.
Yeah. So, if you're a person who's a big fan of clean lines, this...
Definitely.
It's just really hard to top. It's a study.
There's no curvature on that whole thing.
Yeah, it's a study in functional minimalism.
Everything is really directed towards the end of the pen.
Yeah. It's just a vessel for a writing experience.
It visually carries the eye.
Yeah.
And that is a nice aspect.
So, aesthetically, I'm a bigger fan of the V5 clip top. I like the clean look. I like the more utilitarian sort of vibe rather than like an opaque body or like a metallic silver body. Not a huge fan, but this is all personal preference.
Yeah.
And what should really drive your buying is the writing experience, because that's what matters.
That's what pens are for.
So,
And it's up to you. They're very evenly matched pens, are side by side. We can't really put one above the other, but it's personal preference. If you like the clicker, if you like the design, if you like gel pens more than liquid ink pens, if you think they're more utilitarian, think they're going to last you longer, go with the Precise V5 RT.
if you can deal with what comes with liquid,
Yeah.
if you have no issues with that, if you like snap top,
Precise V5 is the one for you.
that's it.
Yep. That's really all we have to... All the differences between those.
Yeah.
So,
So, we can
Santi,
move on.
Is there I think it's time, I'm about half done, for tea of the day.
I've actually killed it already. But,
Really?
Yeah. So, today's tea of the day, we've got an entry from Trader Joe's.
Strong tea selection there. Trader Joe's Spice Chai, a rich, robust blend of Asian black tea and
Assam black tea.
Asian Assam. Ooh,
Assam.
Assam. That's not Asian. My bad.
Province in India.
Yeah. Assam. Well, that is in Asia.
It's in Asia.
Yeah. Assam black tea and exotic spices.
So,
What do you think about this tea? I see you enjoyed it.
I went through tea. I drink tea fast, so I usually
Yeah.
need multiple cups. I'm a big fan of liquids. And so, it's a tough call for me. They talk about on their package trying to match an authentic Indian chai tea experience.
Yeah.
But when you're making chia in India, you boil milk. You boil the milk with the tea, and it doesn't come in leaves per se. All the tea is sort of ground up and pressed into pellets. So that's spooned right into the milk. You spoon your spices, your cinnamon and cardamom and nutmeg, maybe anise, ginger powder right into the tea, and you just drink it straight from there. So you can see, and black pepper, you can see the little black flecks of spices and herbs not herbs so much, but spices right in your tea, and that's where the flavor comes from. Truly.
Yeah. I don't have quite as an exotic knowledge of chai tea as you do, but I would have to say, as far as this goes, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good from what you're gonna get in a bag.
It advertised spiced, rich and robust, and that describes it exactly. You know, if you could smell it right now, you would know what I'm talking about. It has a heavy aroma.
The aroma is a strong point, but that's going to be the case. You can smell the aromatics in the tea, but when you've got spices sitting around in the tea bag for what could be an extended period of time, for all anybody knows, they're going to lose a little bit of their potency, right? You've got them in the bag instead of directly in the tea that you're drinking, so the flavors don't come through as well. You get the smell, but you don't get the flavor, which is a sort of strange experience. You're expecting, your nose is selling you more than the tea can give your mouth. But it's a good tea, good for drinking.
Yeah, I like this tea.
Black tea, caffeine, the way it should be.
Keep you awake.
So that's it. Yeah, it's a black tea with spices. If you're a big fan of the chai experience, I would recommend trying to make a pot from scratch. Not that hard.
That's bold.
It's something you can get into. And you can try tea from anywhere. You can try Assam tea, you can try Darjeeling tea, Elam.
Yeah.
It's a province in Nepal where they grow a lot of tea. It's where the best tea in Nepal's from.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
It's true.
I think everybody in Nepal would agree with that.
I think they would. That's commonly accepted fact.
All right.
That the best tea in Nepal is grown in Elam, which is across the border from Darjeeling. So,
cool.
Same region. They grow great tea.
That has been Tea of the Day.
Tea of the Day.
Now, we have a segment we like to call Legit Pen You Might Not Really Think Is That Good.
Yeah.
Well, you might not actually know about.
It's...
You might see it on somebody's desk and think, that's a pen, but if you actually pick it up and try it, it's a solid pen.
It's a sneaky pen. Sneaky solid.
Yeah.
You could say.
It's cheap. You can buy them in bulk. That's
Yeah.
usually what we go for.
We've got the Bic Ultra Round Stick Grip. Stick spelled S-T-I-C.
No K. That's how you know it's progressive.
It's capped. It's thin body in the traditional Bic style, but we've got, from initial inspection, all the body plastics are translucent.
Yeah.
It's got a rubberized grip.
That would be the stick grip.
The stick grip.
Stick grip.
And the cartridge and the rubberized grip match the color of the ink. So, they're going to be black on a black pen, blue on a blue pen, red on a red pen.
And I'm pretty sure they have a whole range of colors.
They do. Full
You can get
featured
some that aren't.
Bic ink.
Yeah.
They've got
There's plenty.
all the colors you need. And we forgot to mention colors when it comes to the V5s. Full range of pilot colors.
Yep.
Nothing to be worried about.
Well, I'm not sure if the RT has.
The RT may not, but
The RT may not.
the V5 is a full palette of colors if that's what you need.
It's a very well-established pen. That's the sign of a well-established pen. If they have the full rainbow.
A full color palette, yeah.
Yeah. Then you know that pen has been here for a while, and that might be an indicator of a solid pen.
Yeah. So, something to consider when you see a bunch of pens in the store. So, the stick grip, it's very similar to the traditional Bic.
We have one here. A very used-up Bic pen.
It's a battle-worn Bic. It may not be recognizable at first because the colors are sort of the University of Minnesota livery, but with the maroon and gold. But standard Bic, regular, like what you hand out in the office Bic.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it's from.
And that's the thing. All these Bics that we're showing you, they're cheap. You know, you can buy a lot of them. A lot of them are customizable if you wanna.
You wouldn't say
if you're
they're
a company.
They're very common. They're almost ubiquitous.
That's a good one.
The standard Bic also comes with a pen. I lost it. It's my pen. Not a big deal. Who cares? It's the tip for a regular Bic. No one cares.
Yeah.
So, approaching the stick grip writing experience.
Now, I do have to say,
Paper pad.
this is a gel pen. If you can see inside of it, it's got plenty of ink in the cartridge.
And it's a thicker gel. It's not like a pilot style gel. It's a drier.
It's a gel. You can almost smell it if you're writing a lot. It's that thick.
It's a drier gel, thin cartridge. So,
but that does mean that like all thicker gels, thicker and drier gels, it's very smooth writing. You can really just glide across the page. It's not gonna skip in any places. You can draw a whole straight line as fast as you can, and it's gonna all be there. And that's something that at least the liquid pens, they can't draw out the ink fast enough, but the thick gel pens really can. And also, you can what sets this pen apart is if you lose pens a lot, like I used to do, I would put a pen down, forget about it immediately. You know, you can buy about maybe 20 of these for really not much at all. For about as much as you can buy a 4-pack of a precise Pilot or a G2.
It's cheap and cheerful, and if you lose a pen a day, that's almost 3 weeks of pens right there.
Yeah.
That's
so many pens.
That's a lot of value. So, initial impressions, writing on pad. We've got, it's just a regular Bic experience. It's
writing
smooth.
on pad, very thick.
It's smooth. There's a little bit of
if you're
uneven
really
ink
small
dispersal in possible
that's
places.
true.
But it's a thicker gel. It's a cheaper pen. The manufacturing tolerances are going to be a little bit more lax. But it is a Bic ball. All Bic balls are manufactured in France. And they're very passionate about their quality. So it's a cheap pen, and it approaches whatever it does.
Approaches your average writing very heroically,
Yeah.
I would say. No, I like that. I actually go so far as to say this pen does better writing on a hard surface than it does on a pad.
I'd agree.
Because when you push it down,
Those look
it's
like
not
better
a
results.
precise. It's not a precise point.
Yeah.
You know, it's very
It's
rounded.
a thick ball.
So it's gonna dig in deep into the pad, and it's really gonna get ink all over the place. And depending on how hard you push it, you can change the consistency of the line that you're laying down. And I think that's what your writing sort of suggests.
Yeah.
I know you're a really hard writer.
I am.
So you push down a lot.
I tend to push.
So it might be a better choice for you to not write on a pad with this pen.
Yeah. When you push in right on this hard surface, it's a large ball, so there's a large surface in contact with the paper. It's smooth. It's really good with looping, it appears.
Very good. There is some, I have been noticing this, there's a little bit of leakage.
We've got some tip bleed. Yeah.
Tip bleed. That's annoying. It leaves a little blotch when you start writing, but it's not a big deal because what this pen is all about is about being cheap and a good writer.
It's value and function right there.
So
Thin
now
body, so the
we can
comfort
compare
is
it.
as expected, but the stick grip is nicer than a balled Bic.
Let's give it a side by side. So I can tell right away this is it's a lot harder to write with. It's not quite as smooth.
Mm-hmm.
The line's a lot skinnier.
Very dry ink.
The ink dispersal, yeah, it's not. It leaves something to be desired.
Yeah.
It really drags on my hand. I'm pushing down pretty hard. So if I were to write a long time with this, my hand might cramp up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of unnecessary fatigue that you could get. But it's a pen you use in a pinch.
Yeah. Now its namesake, the Bic Ultra Round Stick Grip. This grip right here, this is pretty cheap. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah.
You can even rotate it around. You know.
Yeah.
It comes right out if you can push it hard enough.
If you pull, which
There it comes.
I enjoy about the
There it
Ultra
is.
Stick Grip, is that you can actually disassemble it.
Yeah.
So if you're
Not
bored,
many-
you can tinker with it.
Not many Bics can do that. You could take it out even. I don't know why you want to do that. It is, I mean, it's a grip, and I'm of the opinion that any grip is better than no grip.
Yeah.
Anything
So-
that identifies this is where you should put your fingers. I like that. Like it adds to a sleeker design.
Yeah, if I'm not using a grip, if I'm just going freestyle, on this pen I tend to tip grip it a little bit instead of barrel grip.
It's true.
So, yeah, it's just the writing experience isn't there, really. It's not at the same level as the Ultra Stick. But it's an easy writer. It's perfect utility pen. And you're just not gonna care if you mess around with that. Just doesn't matter.
It doesn't. That's why it's on our segment. Solid cheap pen. This is what a Bic Ultra Round Stick Grip is.
Yeah.
Bic's really good at that. I've never had a dud pen like I have in some of the more expensive pens.
Mhm.
You know, they all work to their function fantastically, and that's a sign of a quality pen, quality manufacturer.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
So that about wraps up
yeah.
all we got.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, all you pen enthusiasts out there, and Happy writing.
Keep on it.